One of my favorite categories of fragrances that I reach for on a regular basis are the fragrances that make me feel like I'm smelling good. These are the fragrances that really help amp up my aura, so to speak. They're the fragrances that I wear in my hair. They're the fragrances that I use as base layers for when I want to add other fragrances, when I want to play around. These are the fragrances that I genuinely wear as kind of second skin perfumes. Not all of these are going to necessarily be skin scents, but all of these fragrances are tried and true basic fragrances that are unique, yes, but also very comforting and easy to wear. If this is your first time on this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love fragrances. I talk about them here 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. I also publish additional content on TikTok and Instagram under the username ANECHKAFRAGRANCES. And if you're interested in fragrance history, I actually do have a podcast called The Fragrance Report. I publish a new episode of this podcast every Wednesday, and the focus is on fragrance history, but it's a chance for me to kind of chit chat with you guys about what's new in fragrance, about the fragrances I love to wear, and I publish a new episode of it on Wednesdays on Spotify and here on YouTube as well. So this video idea is actually one that I got from Yana over at The Scented. I love her content. I love her videos. I've been watching her for, I would say, longer than I've been doing YouTube. So she was one of the first fragrance YouTubers that I started watching, and I love her content. And if you're interested in hearing her perspective and hearing what she has to say on this topic, highly recommend you watch her video. I'll put it down in the description box. But there was some overlap with the fragrances that she chose versus the ones that I chose. She kind of went into this video concept with the idea of showing fragrances that would be skin scents that kind of amp up your natural skin musk. I went into this concept with the idea of sharing fragrances that, yes, might have some skin scent properties, but also a lot of these perfumes are kind of chosen with the idea that these are my basics when it comes to layering, kind of like a white t-shirt that you put or pair with different items in your wardrobe. So I think it's a slightly different take on her idea, but I just wanted to spotlight where I got this idea from. So definitely go check her out if you're interested. She has some amazing recommendations, and she's also very knowledgeable when it comes to fragrances as well. First up is a fragrance that I really do think makes me feel like I'm smelling delicious, makes me feel like I'm smelling expensive. This is one of those perfumes that genuinely smells good. It's Tardes by Carner, Barcelona, and again, this is one of my favorite basic fragrances. It's not going to be like your heavy hitter, it's not going to be like your beast mode fragrance, but I like to wear this in my hair. I like to wear this as a base layer with other fragrances as well. It's just one of those fragrances that truly smells delicious. It's a powdery almond perfume with some florals and woods. It has notes of almond, Brazilian rosewood, rose, and geranium at the top, a mid of plum, Virginia cedar, and celery, which is quite interesting, and then a base of heliotrope, tonka bean, and musk. This smells like a luxurious, delicious perfume. It's not too complex, it's just simply beautiful. There's, again, some powderiness, some woodiness, some florals. It's very well blended. The celery here is like not too extreme. I don't really smell the celery as much, but maybe it's a kind of in the background. But in terms of like a good basic all-around fragrance, I almost dropped this, in terms of a good basic all-around fragrance that you can wear in your hair, you can wear in your skin, and you don't have to worry about this fragrance interfering too much with other perfumes, this is really good and I really love it. So yeah, Tardes by Carner, Barcelona. This is such a good staple in my collection, and definitely one of your basic white t-shirt fragrances that will have people thinking, okay, what's that amazing smell? Oh yes, this person smells really good. So you kind of get what I'm putting down. That's this fragrance. So this next fragrance is one that just smells delicious. It smells herbal. It smells gourmand, but in a savory way. And I think that this fragrance has some comforting properties that just makes me think so much of nostalgia. And genuinely, this fragrance smells delicious. And it's not going to be a heavy hitter, but it's going to be that fragrance that kind of comes and goes, and you will feel the essence of this throughout the day. It's a Basilica by Milano Fragrenze. To put it very simply, this perfume smells like eating za'atar bread with the dried herbs, the bread-like quality that comes from the milk note in this, in a church with incense around you. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's very compelling, very unique. This has notes of, let's pull this up, thyme and rosemary at the top, a mid of incense, milk, and labdanum, and then a base of woody notes, cedar, cypriot oil, It's amazing. It's amazing. It smells comforting. It smells gorgeous. This was my bedtime fragrance for a really long time because it's just, I'd say it's kind of like a skin scent. I would call it a skin scent because it's not super loud. It kind of comes and goes. But this is beautiful. This is stunning. And yes, there's no bread note in here per se, but the milk here definitely lends a bread-like quality to it. This is what I'd call a savory gourmand fragrance. It smells delicious, and if that description sounds appealing to you, definitely give it a try. It's stunning. Next up is a fragrance by Snif. This is literally called Snif's Me. Like, it's me. It's supposed to smell like you, but better. And apparently it's supposed to smell a little bit different depending on the person who's wearing it. It's a beautiful skin scent that just sings on the skin. I love this fragrance. It's absolutely a gorgeous basic perfume, but it also has a uniqueness to it that smells absolutely stunning. I think there's orris in here, which is really interesting. Some plum, peach, but specifically the peach skin. So it's not going to be like that sugary peach fragrance. It just smells like a gorgeous skin musk that also projects really well. Just a really great basic fragrance all around. It's also interesting enough to warrant trying even if you do have a larger fragrance collection. I highly recommend putting your nose on this one. It's a really delicious scent, very comforting. This has notes of peach and plum at the top, a mid of orris and caramel, and then a base of musk, moss, sandalwood, and orchinox. Again, this perfume is meant to smell differently on various people, so yeah, on me, I definitely do get like the peach and the plum at the opening, but the dry down settles into that gorgeous musk, and the peach to me, or rather the peach skin, does stay throughout the fragrance, so I really appreciate that. But genuinely, this is gorgeous. Like, this is like the perfect after shower fragrance. It's so delicious, and I love this on the hair as well because it lasts a really long time there and it kind of comes and goes. It's just gorgeous, so beautiful. Snif's Me, an essential in my opinion if you're into trying out a skin musk fragrance that also has a unique quality to it. This is really beautiful. Next we have Sun Bleached by Une Nuit Nomade. The equivalent to this would be a white linen dress in the summertime. This is the equivalent of that, in my opinion. It also is a gorgeous sandalwood fragrance. If you love sandalwood, this is your perfume. It's beautiful. So it has notes of ambrette, bergamot, and cardamom at the top, a mid of linen and white flowers, and then a base of white musk, vanilla, sandalwood, and myrrh. But as I mentioned before, this does very much play around with that crisp linen, the sandalwood, the musk. It's just gorgeous. It's divine. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This makes me think of what a sunny day on a yacht would smell like, but not necessarily outside, like what it would smell like inside, with like the crisp white sheets on the bed, the beautiful sandalwood. Like, it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. If you love sandalwood and you want something for the summertime and you want something that you can just like easily just wear and throw on, this is really beautiful. I mean, you can tell how much I wear this fragrance just by the dent. This is a 3.4 ounce bottle. So the dent here is very telling because clearly this is a fragrance that I love wearing. It's just so easy. And if you're looking for like that effortless, delicious fragrance, this is a beautiful musk. It's a warm musk too, because sometimes you have like some musky fragrances that are kind of like cold musks. I would say that this is kind of a cold musk perfume. Not that it doesn't kind of play with the skin in a really beautiful way. It absolutely does. But Me is a fragrance that you can kind of like smell the synthetic musk nature, which isn't a bad thing. But this smells like a natural linen musk with the sandalwood. So it's a different take on the musk note. It's really beautiful. And I absolutely love it. This is giving old money musk. It's beautiful. So Sun Bleached by Une Nuit Nomade, gorgeous. This next fragrance is one that is definitely not a skin scent. This is not a skin scent by any stretch of the imagination, but the reason it's in this video is because it's so unique that people won't necessarily clock it as a perfume. They'll just think that there's something that smells really good in the vicinity of you. At least that's where my mind is at with this fragrance, because this actually has a very unique note of yuzu aldehyde, which comes across smelling like hot steam, which is not something that you smell in most fragrances. I have not smelled another hot steam fragrance that does it quite like this. And in general, it's a very niche note. You don't smell that usually, and most people haven't smelled that in a perfume. So truly, this perfume will make your aura, or like rather your surroundings, smell good. It's like a walking air freshener. That sounds really weird. But like, you know, like those air diffusers, with like the delicious scented oils that just smell amazing. You'll walk into a lobby and you're like, wait, why does it smell so good here? This is what it's giving. I don't know about you, but I hang eucalyptus in my shower because I want to have that kind of like, I want to have the hot steam from the shower permeate the eucalyptus and spread the scent of the eucalyptus around the space. So with that in mind, this is the kind of equivalent to that in a fragrance. I don't know if I'm making any sense at all, but this just smells like a spa. In a bottle, it will make your surroundings smell delicious. You're like a walking, delicious, expensive smelling scent diffuser. I hope that makes sense. But this has, again, that note of yuzu aldehyde. It also has some yuzu, which is literally bitter citrus, and some lychee as well. There's some kind of like refreshing green notes in here, and some teak wood as well. It just smells divine. It smells delicious, and it literally makes your whole surroundings smell delicious. So, Onsen Minerale by Cult of Kaori, a very unique fragrance, but I do think that it fits right very well into this video. And especially if you're looking for something that will last all day, this is fantastic. So I could not do this video without mentioning these two fragrances, because if we're talking about fragrances that will make you smell delicious constantly, if we're talking about fragrances that are good base layers, these are some of my favorite base layers. Personally, I've been wearing these fragrances nonstop, constantly. I have Banana Republic's Vintage Green, which is a delicious, refreshing green fragrance with some citruses, tea notes. It's delicious. It has some fig in there as well. And then I also have By Corral's Sharing Concept. This apparently has a wine note in here. I don't smell the wine as much. Maybe it's giving like kind of a dry white wine, but it smells like a delicious grapefruit soap. So I do think that part of this kind of concept of smelling good overall is the idea of sometimes you just want a fragrance that smells like you just got out of the shower. It smells like you just got done using a beautiful toiletry set or a beautiful smelling soap. This is giving that soapiness. It smells like a soapy grapefruit. It's very delicious. And then paired with Banana Republic's Vintage Green, this is such a good combination. Very refreshing. Sharing Concepts specifically actually lasts a really long time. So I've had people comment on saying, oh yeah, something smells really good, and it's been me when I've worn this fragrance. I will say, By Corral is a brand that is shipping out of Poland. So it's a little bit difficult to get them here in the U.S., specifically if you're trying to get their discovery set. I know that shipping is quite difficult because it's a little bit expensive if you're just getting the discovery set. I do know that Greta Beth, who is another fragrance content creator, she actually runs a Decant website. So I do know that she stocks one of the By Corral fragrances. I don't think it's Sharing Concept. I think it's their other one, Dalma. So if you're interested in trying the brand out, and if you're just curious about trying the brand, I would recommend trying to look online to find some decants. Unfortunately, the discovery set, I understand that the shipping is a bit of a headache, especially if you're just getting the discovery set, but I really love this brand. I will continue talking about them because they have some amazing options, and I'm looking forward to seeing them expand more in the US. One of my passions is using my platform to spotlight brands that are just up and coming, and sometimes when it comes to brands that are just getting started, it can be a little bit difficult to get your product around the world. And yeah, I mean, that kind of is how it is. And I will actually say, This next fragrance, Latte and Mandorla by Profumo di Firenze. This is actually a brand that used to be really difficult to get in the US, but now just a few years later, they're actually a lot easier to obtain here. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that by Corel will get to that point as well, because they have some amazing options. I love their fragrances, but yeah, sometimes when it comes to European brands, when you're growing, it's harder to be available everywhere. So yeah, I know they're working on it, and you can still buy the fragrances and the discovery set using my codes, using my links, but I do understand that shipping can be a little bit of an issue, so I just want to be transparent about that. So next up, we're talking about Profumo di Firenze Latte and Mandorla. This is a fragrance that I got because I wanted a perfume that smelled like an expensive body lotion. I also wanted another musk fragrance at the time, and this perfume provides that and more. This is a fragrance that smells like a glass of cold almond milk. It's delicious. It's so beautiful. So you have milk and almond at the top, a mid of rose and anise, and then a base of patchouli and musk. Personally, I don't get the patchouli in here, but this fragrance also does last a pretty long time, so I'm wondering if that comes from the patchouli. But when I think of patchouli, I think of something that's a little bit more earthy, and I don't get that with this. It's a very clean smelling musk perfume, literally smelling like an expensive body care product, but this literally will make you smell delicious, and that's why I love it so much. I've made quite the dent in this, and yeah, I mean, it's been amazing to see Profumo di Firenze's growth over the last few years. Like I said before, they used to be really hard to get here in the US. This is an Italian brand, but they have since had a lot of growth, which is really wonderful to see. And yeah, they have some amazing launches, and this is just one of them. It's so delicious. Definitely, if I had to... So I have another fragrance from them called Buon Talenti. It's their bestseller. But I kind of like go between the two in terms of like what my favorite is, because I wear this one a lot, but I also know that I'll be wearing Buon Talenti constantly when it gets warm out. So I don't know. This brand has some amazing options, but right now we're talking about Latte Mandorla, and if you're looking for like a beautiful, warm, like tonic musk, this is really good. Let's talk about this next one. This is A Grove by the Sea by Arquiste. This is also my scent of the day. I've been spraying on a lot of perfumes throughout this video and the other video that I filmed today, not gonna lie. So this is turning into a scent cocktail kind of video. But Grove by the Sea is a fragrance that plays around with some salty notes, plays around with olive. There's some rosemary and thyme in here, which I love. And it also settles into something that to me smells like olive oil. So it's a very delicious, unique fragrance. There's a lot going on here. I love the bottle. It looks like sea glass to me. It's so beautiful. Let's look at the rest of the notes. But yeah, if you're looking for like an expensive smelling, delicious, refreshing, high-end, luxurious kind of fragrance, this is really it. It's like aromatic, also fresh, spicy. There's some greenness to it, but there's also some warmth, especially in the dry down, at least on my skin. It's delicious, so unique, and it stays close to the skin, so I'd say it's kind of like bordering on the edge of being a skin scent. So Grove by the Sea by Arquiste has notes of olive, fig leaf, salt, fennel, and clementine at the top, a mid of olive, fig, thyme, and rosemary, and then a base of fir, pine needles, cypress, and clay. It smells delicious. It really warms up on the skin quite beautifully. I can't speak at all today, but it's so beautiful. I love it so much. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. It's very unique. If you love the kind of like slightly salty greenness that you can find in Orebella's Salted Muse, you definitely should try this. It's a warmer, more decadent version of that fragrance. It's kind of similar, but also really not. They're distantly related, but in the same family. But A Grove by the Sea by Arquiste, stunning, beautiful, gorgeous skin scent with some light saltiness, gorgeous. Okay, so next up, I have a fragrance that has the notes on the bottle, which I love because it makes my job so much easier. But this is Commodities Gin. This comes from their Archive collection. So if you're unfamiliar with Commodity as a brand, they've had some archive fragrances that they've then remastered, reformulated, improved them, and they came out with these in-store exclusives. So I had the pleasure of going to Commodity a few months ago, and I got this fragrance from them, and it's absolutely stunning. So we have notes of juniper berry, grapefruit juice, lime, ginger leaf, freesia, and labdanum, and then patchouli, smoky oak, and musk. When I tell you, this is one of my favorite fragrances to just spray on nonchalantly. This is absolutely a gorgeous base layer perfume. This plays with the juniper berry so beautifully. If you love juniper berry, you should get yourself a bottle of this. This is stunning. It's so unique, so beautiful, so refreshing. I love it. It's amazing. Like, I have been wearing this fragrance for days, like especially lately. I've had this fragrance on my work desk and I've just been spraying it on because I don't know if you can tell or not based on my voice, but I'm getting over being sick. I'm still kind of sick, but thank you. Thank you so much. But I was sick for much of this past week, not feeling great at all. And this was like one of like the perfect pick-me-up perfumes. Like I actually will be filming or probably talking about the perfumes I was wearing while I was sick in like a future favorites video or during my podcast episode this week. But yeah, there's some perfumes that are genuinely like comforting perfumes that I reach for when I'm sick, and this has, I guess, turned into one of those fragrances. But this just definitely like smells like a beautiful aura around you. This smells beautiful. It's not a very loud fragrance, but it's a fragrance that just leaves a beautiful like scent bubble, especially when you spray on your hair, on your clothes. It's gorgeous. So Commodities Gin, this is one of my favorite fragrances that I've tried that feature the juniper berry note. This is definitely a favorite of mine. I love this fragrance. All right, so that's it for this video. Those are all the fragrances I have to share with you today. Let me know, what are the fragrances that you have that you reach for over and over again? What are the base layers in your collection, if you will? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts, because I feel like sometimes there are fragrances that just do really well when they're kind of like standalone fragrances and can't really work with others very well. But I don't know about you, but I'm someone who loves layering. And sometimes you need a really good base layer. You need that perfect after shower fragrance. You need that perfect fragrance to wear in your hair. And when I'm looking for that, these are the fragrances that I love. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I will see you next time. Bye.